Now guys, before this video starts, and again, this is going to be a massive course, entirely free course, where we're kind of going to go into depth on exactly how I scale numerous channels to multiple six figures, how I do close to $100,000 a month with the use of YouTube long form and ultra long form content. And again, this was taken from my old mentorship program that I no longer run. I actually run a brand new program, which again, if you are interested, you can go ahead and check it out at blakeryan.co. This is my brand new ultra long form program where I give you access to produce.so to vid.gg, all the softwares you see me using inside of my videos themselves, and again inside of this program. I also give you access to a channel that's literally earning from day one, and you also get access to my CMS. Now again guys, this is from my old program. I hope you enjoy. This is going to be a massive value bomb. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day. I hope you enjoy. Alrighty guys, welcome to Project Atlas. Now this is the first of many modules that we're actually launching in this program. And of course, if you're watching this, you've either just joined or this is your first time kind of consuming this program. Now we did have a previous module, and that was of course the legacy program. That's not at all what you guys will be watching. This is brand new. This is catered to ultra long form, which is obviously the reason why you guys joined the program. And this is module 1. It's going to be, I believe, 8 or 9 modules, and we'll consistently start adding to these every so often, every few weeks, every time we find something new. And of course, the reason for this is we want this to be the best program in the entire market. Heck, I think it is the only ultra long form program on all of YouTube. That's why we're so excited. So first things first, and the first topic I want to talk about is exactly why we choose ultra long form over short form, over anything like that. Now, it's very self-explanatory, right? Ultra long form RPM is anywhere from, let's say, $15 to $40. Long form RPM is anywhere from, let's say, 3 to 8. And then of course, short form, which as you guys know, if you watch any of my content, which you definitely do know, because obviously I don't talk about short form and you obviously found me from my content. But when it comes to short form, I absolutely despise it. There's no longevity. When it comes to long form, it is still amazing. Don't get me wrong. And my previous programs were kind of catered towards long form. But as of recent, I've just been loving ultra long form as of the last year or so. And that's where I've seen the most success. Now, as you guys know, when it comes to long form and ultra long form, for example, we have a channel like the Amagi, right? This guy has been going for many years. But of course, if we go ahead and grab his view stats profile, and I literally just pop it open right here, you guys will see, even though at face value, it seems as if his videos don't get a crazy amount of views, because he's built up such a big sustainable niche in this kind of genre, he still gets 2.1 million ultra long form views a month. And again, keep in mind the videos that get views, like if we head over to videos and then we filter this by trending 24 hours, you guys will see that the majority of the videos that are contributing to the most views in the last 24 hours are actually videos that are like an hour and a half long, an hour and 20, an hour and 30. If we keep scrolling, 3.5 hours. And that's really what I'm talking about. When you're doing ultra long form, the views stack a lot more than any other niche. Now, yes, there is kind of a limit to how much views can stack, and that's why we do ultra long form, right? Like views can stack to about 2 to 5 mil views a month. Again, if you're doing that on long form, don't get me wrong, it's still a crazy amount of money. But if you're getting, let's say, 1 million evergreen views a month on long form, that's about $3,000 to $8,000. But again, if you compare that to ultra long form, if you can find a niche where you're able to get evergreen views and you're able to get 1 million views every single month in the ultra long form space, that is the difference between getting $3,000 to $8,000 and getting $15,000 to $40,000 on ultra long form. Don't even get me started on short form. Let's fully just delete that. But you can kind of see the reason why I already, just at face value, prefer ultra long form. Now, the next reason why ULF is just such a big factor, especially with how the game is changing, is that this wasn't possible 2 to 3 years ago, right? It wasn't, because to get a voiceover or like a high quality ultra long form channel, you could still do it if you're doing like lo-fi style content, like ultra long form lo-fi videos, like music to fall asleep to. That was still possible. But the way we know it now, like Space Dust, for example, the way we know this kind of ultra long form, this has only actually become possible, if we check like oldest 2 years ago. Now, this guy, Space Dust, he is a perfect example of a long-term ultra long form channel. Even though his new videos get fuck all views, he gets barely any views, because he's kind of built such an evergreen channel, he is still getting like 300k views. And by the way, this guy tried to sell me this channel. His RPM is $37. So if we obviously go ahead and check his lifetime views, 17.8, let's be conservative and let's say it's about 30. This one channel has made $500,000 in pure profit. And again, I want to make this crystal clear. This wasn't possible 2 to 3 years ago, because what you would have actually needed, and the only people that were able to do this, was like National Geographic and shit like that, right? Because you would have needed 3 to 4 hours of voiceover every single video. That would have cost, like by itself, that would have cost, let's say probably at the very minimum $700, the top like $2,000 for that voiceover. Next thing you'd have to pay for would obviously be the script writing. Now, God, don't even get me started on how expensive script writing was back in the day. As someone who's been doing YouTube for 7 years, I literally know the ins and outs of how much I personally had to pay. Boys, I would be paying like $100 for a minute script for shorts back when I was doing Snapchat shows. Like, you to get a good scriptwriter to make you a 3 to 4 hour long video, you're paying a minimum of like $1,500, right? Next thing, what else do we need? We obviously would need thumbnail design. Now, this is never really changed. You still need this. Let's just say $20. And then of course, video editing. On a 3-hour video, you're looking anywhere from $300 to $1,000. So let's go ahead and just take the median range. So let's say 1,500 plus 1,000 plus 20 plus 700, right? We'll go ahead and put that into Google. Previously, it could have cost you to do ultra long form $3,220 a video if you wanted to do this style of content like Space Dust. But nowadays, the entire landscape has kind of changed, right? Now, not only can we do the voiceover with 11 Labs, obviously AI, and that's what Space Dust does. That's what every ultra long form channel should be doing. We can do the voiceover with AI. So we've completely wiped that $700 to $2,000 down to like $5 to $10 for the whole month, not even per video. If we're talking about per video, like $1 a video. And don't worry guys, later on in this program, and because we're kind of catering this towards ultra long form, and this is going to be the biggest thing we have, and I want to make it so seamless and so easy for you guys, especially with the tools we have and the tools you're going to get access to with Produce. But essentially, we can get 11 Labs for very, very cheap. Now, usually if you're doing ultra long form and you want to do 11 Labs, it's going to cost quite a bit. We have some alternatives and I'm going to show you those later. Don't worry. But script writing, probably down to about $1. Again, if you guys are using Produce, you would know how easy script writing is. Literally go to app.produce.so. Every single one of you guys should already have access to this. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and talk too much about it in this little module because that's not what this module is. But for example, you literally can just go to Space Dust. Let's say we want to copy his videos, click on share, literally paste it in, press start training. It'll be saved to your trained niches section. I've actually trained it on this niche before, so I already have it. No need to do that. Produce obviously already knows that this content is ultra long form. It knows the average view duration. So all we have to do is press create script in this style. We choose our script length and it will literally replicate the entire script style, but for your specific niche and your specific idea in Produce. So we've already cut off voice acting. We've already cut off script writing, thumbnail design. Again, I don't want to get too much into depth, but I'm going to show you just how fucking easy this is so you guys can kind of be aware. And again, I just want you to see how much the landscape has changed and why I'm pushing so hard for ultra long form content, right? So for example, let's say we wanted to copy something like this. We were doing a space channel, literally click on reference, go ahead and upload this as a reference, say copy this thumbnail style. But for the idea, what if the sun exploded? Keep the space theme CTR optimized. Literally going to paste that in twice. Now, again, I want to make this clear. Previously, you probably would have had to pay what, $30 for a thumbnail, maybe even more in a niche like this. So we've entirely got that all sorted. That's essentially $0 now. And don't worry, I'll be walking you through specific modules on doing each of these specific things, but I kind of want to compact this into a little bit of a module where I'm talking about why we're pushing so hard for ultra long form, right? Now, while we're waiting for this, the other thing I want to talk about, video editing. That is why you've joined this program. That is the value I provide. Over the last couple of years, I've been building up Produce.so. Now, this tool is something that I personally use for my channels. We have people in the program already that were carried over from the previous program called the Inner Vault that were using Produce. They're already monetized. I know one of my clients, Ibrahim, he has multiple channels that are already monetized with Produce. We have a few others that are already monetized with Produce. Now, what we've actually done is if you head over to Generate Video, and again, guys, if you find a niche that isn't here, you guys are my top tier clients. I care more about you than I do about the average person. You tell me the niche you want, I'll have it added within 24 hours. But for example, like image niches, we have hundreds of ultra long form niches for Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Hollow Knight, whatever it might be. Even those space videos that you can see Space Dust doing, right? You can literally make those 4-hour videos inside of Produce with PTS audio. So you literally just upload your audio file, background music, ambient sounds. We do all the subtitles for you. You can even add a little bit of human element to the videos by adding an intro, everything like that. So again, we've made it possible. We've got voiceover all sorted. We've got script writing all sorted. We've got thumbnail design all sorted, and we've got video editing all sorted for completely free. So again, we've taken the expenses from what used to be $3,200 a video to $2 a video. That's how crazy what's changed is, and that's why I see such a big future with ultra long form. Like, look at this. Here's a perfect example of how easy thumbnail design is. What if the sun exploded? This copies the exact style we gave it as reference, but it's even better. And this is just a start, guys. I'm going to show you exactly how to utilize this to your full potential, but this is what I'm talking about. Ultra long form has always been amazing. The problem wasn't the content. It was how hard the content was to make and be profitable. But nowadays, we can have a channel automated for $2 a video and have 10 of these all going at once. And again, even if we're just averaging 100,000 views a month, right? With a $30 RPM, that is still 3,000 USD a month, evergreen. There's zero effort because we're going to be having everything in-house. We've even got our thumbnail designer being added to Produce.so very, very soon. Now, the next thing I want to talk about with ultra long form specifically and why I'm pushing so hard for it is, of course, because that is the future. Now, why do I say that? More people than ever are falling asleep to content. That's because of short attention span from TikTok, from Instagram Reels. People need something to constantly be giving them dopamine for them to fall asleep. White noise. Heck, some of you guys might even go to sleep with white noise. A lot of people need that. Now, this is why ultra long form is so much better than long form. Long form, you need to keep the viewer engaged because usually they're always watching that specific video. Like all of these videos here, if I go on YouTube and I just scroll for like a minute, most of these videos, people are kind of watching them consistently, right? People are watching throughout the entire video. You have to optimize your AVD. You have to make sure it's good editing. On ultra long form, the barrier to entry is so low because people are actually consuming that content to sleep to. So because they're doing that, we can get away with having a lot less energy. Obviously, we can place far more ads because people don't care since they're already asleep. And of course, AVD just doesn't matter as much because people are falling asleep to the videos. It's not as if like they're going to see a problem on the screen and immediately click off like they would on long form. So it just makes it that much easier to actually create the content on ultra long form. And again, as I said, more people than ever are actually falling asleep to the content. That's why the RPM is so much higher. And again, that's just what I wanted to talk about, guys. I wanted to walk you through my exact thought process on why I prefer ultra long form so much more than any other niche and why this is what the program is catered towards. I want every single one of you to already be doing 5K a month by the end of this 90-day program. That's my goal. And I want, of course, my ultimate end goal is for you guys to love Produce so much that you start multiple channels. Heck, we have a few people in the program who already have like 4 channels monetized using Produce.so. That's all for today. That's what I want to talk about for this specific module. Again, we're going to be going into far more depth. This was just like an introductory type module. But again, guys, thank you for watching. See you in part 2. Alrighty guys, now for the next part. And this is of course, finding your ultra long form niche. I'd say this is arguably the most important part before we actually get started. And that's of course, you don't really want to go into this not knowing your niche. Now, again, I want you guys to kind of watch all of the modules before you go ahead and start looking for your niche. But this is going to walk you through exactly how we can do this and obviously the ways you can kind of go about finding niches. So first method of the pinnacle of this shit is of course, knowing what style of content you initially want to go with. Now, if the style of content you want to go with is documentary style. Now, examples of a documentary style channel would be like Space Dust, right? We just spoke about this. He does documentary style, like 4 hours of mind-boggling facts for space. So you want to find a sub niche. So this guy's obviously doing space. You could do medieval, you could do rainforest, you could do deep ocean, you could do so many different genres, right? You want to find something that's big enough that has enough content for you to make ideas around every single day. Now, I actually made a video on a niche in today's video, I believe, that was essentially talking about something very, very similar to Space Dust. So let me go ahead and pull this up really quick and show you guys. Here it is, Life Beyond Scene. Now, this is once again a documentary style niche. So Space Dust would be documentary style. This would also be documentary style. Like why Challenger Deep still terrifies scientists while the Mariana Trench still won't let humans go deeper. Kind of documentary style content you can kind of see documentary to fall asleep to. We can literally just look up documentary for sleep, go ahead and filter this by the last week. And we'll of course see a ton of different kind of documentary style niches that we could of course copy. Now, here we go. We have one that's like prehistoric, so like dinosaurs and shit like that. This is a perfect niche. You can already see it's doing really, really well in ultra long form. Again, I think this looks a little bit AI, to be honest with you. I don't like the look of this. I'd want to have a bit more human intervention on the thumbnails, make it look like it's a more sustainable channel. But of course, that is a documentary style. Now, don't worry, I'm going to show you how to actually find your niche after in a sec, but I want to kind of get the 3 or 4 bases, I should say, of what specific ultra long form niches there are. Now, that one is obviously documentary style, right? Next style is of course lore. So context-based video. So lore style would be something like lore to fall asleep to. Now, this is what's changed on YouTube recently. So this used to be the biggest thing, right? Like just posting lore to sleep to. So like a specific game or a specific genre or a specific TV show, you would basically just make videos every day that were always the same thing, posting lore to sleep to. But that's actually not what we want to do anymore. YouTube has started cracking down on this and it's made it not as profitable on our end to actually do this. So for example, like channels like this, right? This guy is actually doing it in a correct way. or not anymore actually, I should say, but this is the example of a channel that does obviously lore style content, kind of talking about specific laws of different genres, different TV shows, different games. Now, the way that this guy kind of does the content is he'll post like lore of To Sleep To. That's not what we want to do anymore. We want to be doing context-based videos. Each video is different. We don't want to just, every single video is the exact same thing. We don't want to just spam the same idea over and over and over and over again, because that's how you lead to demonetization and not having evergreen views. The way we want to actually do it is if we look up a channel like Harry Potter Theory, you guys can see this guy, while he does post lore videos, like what really happened to Dumbledore's soul after death, he does Harry Potter. This is what we would want to be doing, right? If we wanted to do lore videos, we'd want to post lore, like specific ideas on the genre that we're doing. And of course, this guy doesn't do ultra long form, but let's just pretend that he was doing ultra long form. This niche would 100% work, by the way. But for example, like why Hermione didn't belong in Gryffindor, the most powerful witch in Harry Potter nobody talks about. Stuff like this. Every single video is a different idea, but the whole premise is the same. As in, you could still make the videos 100% following the same scripts, the same ideas, the same kind of setup using Produce. But again, the packaging makes it look like every single video is authentic and isn't replicating the exact same style and the exact same video and thumbnail over and over and over and over again. Now, this isn't to say you can't have the same thumbnail style, because again, this guy follows his same thumbnail style. What I mean is that every single video looks different enough to where you can build up a long-term sustainable niche. And of course, that's what I kind of mean by lore videos, right? Choose a specific genre, whether that's Harry Potter, whether that's Game of Thrones, whether that's Lord of the Rings, Adventure Time, Naruto, any sort of anime, whatever it might be. Next thing, what if style? This is very, very important. This is where I've had a lot of success recently. So examples would be like Three-Eyed Theorist. This guy is posting Game of Thrones what if. He's making like 30 grand a month. This type of niche can be 100% made with Produce. So we have a few people in the program already that are doing like Harry Potter what if, Game of Thrones what if, all these other specific genres what if. Now, what ifs do great because of course every single video is an entirely different concept. This is actually what the Amagi does, and this is where we got the idea from. The Amagi obviously posts like what if Naruto videos, and that's where we've got the success from, because these do insanely well on his channel. And of course, every video is a different idea, and AI does a great job at coming up with new source material that was never made before. Now, the most important thing for if you are going to do a what if style of content, you want to make sure the niche you're doing is big enough. So one of the ways we can do this is obviously checking on YouTube search and checking the results for it. But for example, like nobody really does like what if One Piece, and there's obviously a reason for that, right? Like if we look up what if One Piece, this is one of the examples where I haven't actually seen an ultra long form channel posting One Piece what ifs, and this is a great example of a niche you could actually try. Like if we filter this by this week, there's really nobody doing One Piece what ifs. But as we can see, One Piece is still a massive demographic on YouTube. But the problem is you want to make sure if you are going to do a what if niche, the niche you're doing has proof of concept, right? Because we don't want to do something that's just simply not going to get views. There has to be enough people that give a shit about that specific genre for it to actually work long term. So for example, we wouldn't want to do a show like What If Solo Leveling, because yes, it's a great show. It's pretty popular, but again, it doesn't make new seasons very often. There's not that much source material to kind of work with, right? And again, like it's just not going to be around 5 years from now. You have to do something that we know is going to be there, we know isn't going anywhere. That's why Naruto still been around for ages. That's why shows like Star Wars still been around for ages. Harry Potter, you can kind of see the ones that are doing really well, right? Like What If Star Wars, this does insanely well. What If Harry Potter, this also does very, very well, like massively well. And again, we know it's evergreen because it's been around for so long. Like, look at this shitty channel right here, Ultimate Harry, posting Harry Potter what ifs. These videos look like complete shit and they're 7 hours long, and he's actually pulling in a decent amount of views. That's the most important thing. That's another style of content you can obviously do, would be what if, you know, in ultra long form. Now, again, most important thing, make sure the niche you are doing is big enough and has a big enough kind of demographic and proof of concept for it to actually be sustainable. Now, the next kind of style of ultra long form content would be lo-fi style. Honestly, guys, I'm going to be 100% transparent with you. I don't recommend this. I hate lo-fi style channels. I've never run one, but I know that the RPM can be anywhere from like $7 to $15. It's usually not higher than that. And I know with the content we talk about, you know, you can get like $40 RPMs with lo-fi style content like You May Rest Now, Traveler. This style of content just isn't really that good. Hard to stand out, big risk of demonetization, low effort content, inauthentic content. Yes, you can make money from it, and the only time I'd say it's kind of worth doing is if you're a channel like this, Drift Away Ambience. Now, he somehow found a really nice micro niche, which in this case was Minecraft lo-fi. Like, you're okay as you are, relaxing Minecraft music with soft rain, 9-hour videos. This guy is banking, he's making like 100K a month. But again, keep in mind, this is a very, very, very specific sub niche, and he got very lucky and got in at the right time. So there's not too many niches like this, and the only time I'd recommend doing a lo-fi ultra long form would be if you kind of find a sub niche that really stands out to you, that reminds you a little bit of a channel like this. And of course, the last kind of style would be miscellaneous. That involves your ultra long form content that doesn't fall into any of these styles, but can still do really well. Matter of fact, it can do the best, but you have to pay for editing, usually. Like Iceberg to Fall Asleep to. Now, this would be an example. People that make like 1 hour of unsolved mysteries to fall asleep to, Connor's Curiosities. But again, this style of content is a bit harder to kind of do with AI. But again, if you do kind of find a way to kind of do it, then it definitely becomes a profitable niche for sure. The only problem being finding something that doesn't require too much time on your end. And of course, the editing is still very, very cheap. Now, this is pretty simple. Once you find the kind of subgenre that you want to do, whether that's documentary, whether that's lore, whether that's what if, whether that's lo-fi, whatever it is, you want to use the incognito method to actually find the niche you're going to tap into. Now, again, you can just use your brain, and like, let's say you wanted to do what if, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to do One Piece. That's completely fine. Make sure there's a big enough proof of concept. But if you don't want to go that route and you don't have anything in your brain and you just want to find one and you want to copy somebody else, this is how you do it. Make a brand new guest browser on YouTube. You want to hop into YouTube. Now, this is called the incognito method. I've spoken about it a little bit, but never really gone into too much depth. So first things first, we need to find the sub niche we want to do. In this case, let's say we wanted to do lore videos. So like lore to fall asleep to, right? All I would look up would be on YouTube. I'd look up lore to fall asleep to. Now, what I'm going to do is actually filter this by the last week. That way we find a lot of kind of new people, and I'm literally just going to go ahead and on a brand new tab, open up like a shit ton of these, every single one that I can see. Usually doing like 10 is enough. Let's go ahead and do this. Now, this is a big problem I see people doing, and their biggest problem is they won't get past the ad. We have to make sure we're getting past the ad and we're skimming through the video just a little bit. I want to make sure I mute this, but you can see I'm kind of skimming through all of these videos. This is very, very important. If you don't skim through, YouTube's not actually going to recognize it as content you've watched. So give me a few seconds. Let me skim through all these videos. Okay, boys, so I've gone ahead and skimmed through every single one that I can see. Now, if I literally just head back to the YouTube homepage, you'll see I've kind of trained my algorithm now to only show me ultra long form videos, or for the most part, ultra long form. Like, what is life like inside the largest ship in Warhammer 40K? Again, I kind of trained it on lore-based videos. Again, if you wanted to train it on what if, you would just do the exact same thing, but for that specific niche. And as you can see, most of the videos now are like 3 hours long because it's showing me ultra long form content because it thinks I'm into that style of content. And this is a great one here. What happened to the cities in Fallout, Fallout City lore? And you can essentially just keep narrowing down and narrowing down. So if you see a concept you like and you want to find more of that, click on it, watch it, skim through. So for example, if I liked this one here, I'd click on it, I'd skim through, I'd watch a little bit, I head back to YouTube, and that would essentially train my page once more. And we can continue to do this over and over and over and over again and just scroll for like 30 minutes and find some really, really good untapped niches. This is my favorite way by far to find untapped niches. Like, look at this shit. 28-hour video, lit RPG audiobooks. This is fucking crazy. RPM would be like $50. This is just kind of showing you guys like how easy this method is. And I don't really talk too much about this, but this is a great way to find new niches. Like, this would even fall under the miscellaneous section we were talking about, right? Like Bizarre World of BioShock. This is higher quality content, but again, all you're really paying for is editing, but builds up a super long-term demographic. Like, look at this, 1.2 mil views, probably about a $20 RPM. That one video made him 24 grand. And we can literally just scroll for a second and you'll see like SpongeBob conspiracies, zombie outbreaks. These are all brand new niches. And again, these are all ultra long form. You'll see every single one of them. And we can keep narrowing it down over and over and over and over again until we find the exact kind of niche that we want to get into. And again, if you guys are doing the method where you already kind of have an idea and you just want to look up and see if a niche that you're doing has proof of concept, that's completely fine. Again, inventing your own niche is always going to be better to save you guys the headache of wondering, well, what if it doesn't work? This is the next best way. And it's always still a super good idea to find a niche utilizing. And that's what I wanted to talk about for finding your niche. Pretty self-explanatory. And again, I want you guys to know that you always have access to my. If you have any questions, you message me. You say, Blake, what do you think about this niche? I'll say yes. I'll say no. I'll give you my exact thoughts. Again, I want you to succeed. That's what the whole program is built about. And transparency is honestly key. So for you guys to succeed, I need to be upfront with you. If you send me a niche and I think it's fucking horrible, I'm going to tell it to you. I'm going to say this niche isn't good. We're not going to be doing this. If I see it and I think this has a ton of potential, I'm going to say go for it. Shoot for the stars. Let's go with this niche. It looks really good. Again, do your research. If you see a niche, and obviously if the niche isn't even on YouTube yet and you're like, well, I want to do law, but I want to do like TV shows, popular cartoon, right? You want to make sure that the cartoon you're talking about has proof of concept, like The Simpsons, Rick and Morty, South Park. Like some of these wouldn't do well, and that's just the truth, right? Because some of them don't have a big enough audience on YouTube, like Jujutsu Kaisen. That is a great anime. It's got a big fandom, but the YouTube fandom themselves simply isn't too big. So that's something I would obviously avoid. So it's really just doing your own research and actually narrowing it down to fully understand whether or not it's worth it. Alrighty, boys, now you're up to the next step, which is utilizing Produce. What can the actual software do? Now, chances are if you've kind of seen my content, you probably already know what Produce is capable of, but I want to kind of do a bit of a deep dive. I want to pretend as if this was a brand new account. I've never used this before, and I was getting straight into using Produce. So first things first, what can Produce do? Now, I want you guys to keep this in mind. We have so many more features planned for Produce. It's not even funny. You don't even know. In the next few weeks, we should have AI thumbnails inside of Produce. As of right now, we should actually have auto upload. So rather than having to download the file, you can literally just upload it directly inside of Produce to your channel that you literally just link. But the two core features with Produce is, of course, the script writing and the video generation. So let's initially start with script writing. Now, I know I made a video before on the fact that you don't really have to use script writing inside of Produce. You can do it in ChatGPT. But again, if you want to just make it really simple for yourself, go ahead and use Produce for this. So very, very simple. The website is, of course, app.produce.so. Now, all of you guys are going to have an insane amount of script hours and an insane amount of video export hours, but I want to walk you guys through exactly how this software works. So when you have a specific niche you want to learn, right? You literally go onto YouTube. Let's say you want to replicate, we'll say like Harry Potter, what if? We'd find some random example of a Harry Potter what if thumbnail. So let's go with this video right here. 5 huge Harry Potter what if scenarios. Literally grab the URL, click on copy, head over to Produce and click on train your niche. Now, when you're here, literally just paste in the URL of whatever video you want to copy. Now, I believe I've actually hit the limit. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is delete one of my trained niches. That way I'll be able to actually create a new one. So that's deleted. Let me go ahead and see if this works. Okay, so I can't do it right now because I have to actually delete them internally, but just use this as an example. You would literally just paste in the URL of the video you want to kind of copy, and it will begin dissecting the script. Now, what I'm going to do is actually make a brand new Produce account just so I can be 100% sure and show you guys exactly how it works. So I went ahead and made a brand new account. Now, what I'm going to actually do is give myself on this account, I'm going to give myself the top plan, the exact same plan that every single one of you guys will actually have. So let me go ahead and quickly do this. And there we go. I'll grant the trial. Beautiful. All done. So now if I go ahead and refresh, you guys can see I've obviously got the free trial. Let me quickly log out and log back in. Alrighty, so we're finally in the account and now I can actually show you exactly what you guys would have access to. This is the exact same thing you guys have. So you obviously have the script studio. Find the video you want to copy or find whatever niche you want to copy. Now again, there are going to be certain scenarios where you can't copy a niche because you're the first person doing it. And in that scenario, what you want to do is you want to do the first video with the ChatGPT method that we spoke about before. You want to make your first video with that method. Once you've posted your first video, then you can train it directly inside of Produce. That way you're kind of training it based off what you already trained, if that kind of makes sense. So what I'm going to actually do is find a different style of content. I'm not a big fan of these, and I want to show you guys a perfect example. So we'll do this one. What if Harry Potter was raised by the Malfoys, the full story? Literally grab share, go to Produce, click on train your niche, go ahead and paste that in and click start training. Now, what Produce actually does in a nutshell is essentially the same thing that I taught you guys with ChatGPT, but it does it for you. It extracts the whole thing. It describes the niche to itself. It kind of understands and learns that niche and becomes an expert in that specific niche. And again, it saves it on your Produce account, so you never have to go anywhere else to do it, and it's always kind of there, saved and ready to go. So as you can see, right now it's kind of analyzing all the content. It's examining the tone, the pacing, the structure, and extracting the video details. It also knows how long the video is, and obviously the video title itself. Now, this usually takes a couple of minutes, but obviously while we're waiting for this, I'll kind of go ahead and run you guys through the process of how the other features work. But again, it's very, very self-explanatory, doesn't require too much effort on our end. And again, as I said, if you want to use a niche that hasn't been done done before. And I know I might have briefly touched on this, but again, we spoke about how to actually do script writing if you want to do it for a brand new niche before in that ChatGPT prompt. Once you've actually made your first script, let's say there's nobody else on YouTube doing it, write your script with ChatGPT and still do the video with Produce. And I want to show you exactly how to do that, but upload your first video without using Produce's script writing tool. Then once it's live, you can go ahead and copy the URL, put it into Produce, and that way you'll be able to copy it directly here. Now, while we wait for this, let me go ahead and show you guys how the video studio works. I briefly touched on it, but I want to go into more depth. So first things first, you have video niches and you have image niches. Now, the true difference between a niche like this would be, for example, if we look up a channel like Three-Eyed Theorist, right? This guy obviously does image niches. Like if we click on one of his videos, and this is actually what's really exciting, guys, is Three-Eyed Theorist, we can essentially copy his content one for one, and it's going to be better quality than what he does. As you can see, he has like an intro here. So I'll go ahead and play it for you guys. So he has an intro that he uses at the start of every single video. And again, this is what's really cool about Produce, guys. Having an intro just limits the chances of you ever getting detected for using AI. So I'd recommend everybody use an intro. But again, if you want to use an intro, literally we have an option for this that only people in the mentorship get. It's right here. It's the elite option, intro video. You can upload your own custom intro that plays before the main content. So I'd really recommend using this. In terms of creating one, you can go on Fiverr, go on Upwork, and just pay someone to make you an intro. So how does Produce actually work? As we were saying, this is an image niche, right? This is a complete image niche. So you would be selecting the image niche if you want to go with a channel like this. But if you wanted to go with a video niche, an example of a channel like that would be something like Space Dust, who every single video literally just has like stock videos, right? So you can do this inside of Produce as well. So again, you kind of have to just decide whether you're doing a video niche or an image niche. Now, another example of a video niche that some people get wrong would be a channel like Vembo, literally just Minecraft background gameplay. And you can actually do this inside of Produce as well, which is super, super cool. But again, you would obviously just choose the style of content you want. Now, in this case, let's go ahead and say we wanted to do, for example, a image niche. We have so many different options. And as I said, guys, I want you to send me a specific niche you want. If there's a specific image niche I don't support, I don't currently have, and you guys want it, literally just tell me and we'll get it added straight away. But all you want to do is you want to find the niche you want to do. So for example, let's say you wanted to do Hollow Knight. There's someone actually doing this type of content right now, Stories for Sleep. I actually have access to this channel as well. He's doing about $2,000 to $4,000 a month. He actually tried to sell me the channel. Obviously, I didn't want it, but he's posting like the complete whatever it is to King lore of Hollow Knight to fall asleep to, essentially like Hollow Knight lore videos. Now, if we wanted to copy this, all we would do, video title, doesn't matter. I'm going to walk you guys through exactly how to create a video in Produce. Video title doesn't matter at all. Image duration or video duration. How long do you want each image to be on the screen for? As I said, the best time is about 10 to 15 seconds. Always make sure you have Ken Burns zoom effect on. It's essentially like how every time you see an image, it zooms in slowly. Just adds a bit of depth. In terms of the target duration, we spoke about this before, guys. You want to make sure that whatever your audio file length is, that's how long your target duration is. So for example, if your audio file is 59 minutes, you want to set your target duration to 60 minutes. If it's 1 hour and 57 minutes, you want to set it to 1 hour and 58 minutes. Now, really quick, guys, while we're actually waiting for the TTS file to upload, I want to kind of go into a little bit more depth on these two things. Now, intro buffer. This is essentially if you want to have a little bit of a pause with just music before the TTS starts talking. This can add a little bit of atmosphere as well. So if you want that, you can choose how long you want that to be right here. Of course, same thing applies for outro buffer. Like let's say you want to have an end screen, which again, on ultra long form, you don't really need an end screen. So it's kind of not even worth having, but again, it's there if you need it. Now, TTS file is uploaded. As I said, if you have multiple TTS files, you can literally just go ahead and add the next one here as well. You guys can see, and you can of course change your volume. I'd recommend 60%, of course, for the TTS file. But again, you can change this, play around with it, see whatever works best for your style of content. And again, I just posted another TTS file in there, right? Now, if I wanted this one to play first, I would literally just click on the up arrow, and now that one's first. Vice versa, you can keep swapping it around, play around with it. Now, background music, you can actually choose from our public library of copyright-free songs. But again, if you don't want to use those, you can upload your own background music. Literally very, very simple to do. Just press upload file. It goes directly in there. You can choose the volume you want it to be. Again, I'd recommend using 2%. It goes really well with 60%. Ambient sounds, this is essentially like fire, nature, soft rain, rain and thunder, loud rain, wind sounds. Here's some examples of kind of how it sounds. And again, these are all copyright free. And if you want to upload your own, same exact thing applies. Literally just click on upload your own file. Now for the intro video, as I spoke about, it adds a bit of depth to the content. And again, this is all you need to know, guys. I know I'm kind of overwhelming you, but again, remember, this is all you need to know. We can do the entire video in Produce. So don't worry, just relax. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Upload your intro video. This isn't necessary. You can do it if you want. Let's say I didn't do it. Now time for the subtitles. This is essentially automatic subtitles, and what we've actually done in Produce is done something that I haven't seen anybody else do. So you can of course choose the font you want. We're going to have a ton more fonts. If you guys have a specific font you want us to add, just let me know. Of course, you can choose your font size. If I want it to be massive, I can do that. If I want it to be a little bit smaller, can obviously do that. Now, word by word highlighting. This is what nobody else has, and this shouldn't even be possible. Our Produce.so API and the AI itself, it kind of detects when a word is being said. So for example, let's say our TTS file was like the quick brown fox. It would actually highlight each word individually. So like if it was the quick brown fox, it would actually highlight each word. Now, if you don't want to have that enabled, you can turn it off. But again, I would just recommend having it. It just looks so much better. Of course, you can go ahead and change your text color, your outline color, the thickness of the outline if you want it to be a little bit more thick, or of course, make it less thick if you want it to be less thick. Now, you can also change the kind of positioning of the text itself. Like if you want to have it lowered down, if you want to have it higher up, you can do all of that directly inside of an editor. Now, I love this font personally. I also really like this font, but honestly, just go ahead and play around with it and see whichever one looks best for you. Now, that is completely done. I know it sounds unrealistic. Your video is 100% done. It's going to charge you however long the video is. So if the video is 2 hours and 5 minutes, it might cost like 2 hours and 9 minutes worth of credits. Press start generating, and within about 15 to 20 minutes, your 3-hour video will be completely done. Now, because I don't want to sit here and make you guys wait to see an example video, I'm going to show you some that we've made. So for example, let me just go to the script studio, right? And click on trained niches. This is niches that I've obviously trained before. Now, the Hollow Knight one that we just copied is right here. So I can click create script in this style. Now, because we trained it on an ultra long form video, it already knows that. It knows that this style is ultra long form. A script title, let's say I wanted to do Hollow Knight to fall asleep to. That's all I'm going to say. Now I can choose the length. So you have anywhere from 2 hours to 3 hours long. Let's go with 2 hours. Put in the Hollow Knight to fall asleep to. You can choose what your special features, if you want it to be story driven, low energy, high energy, whatever it might be. Click on continue. Same exact concept with the video generator. Click start creating, and your entire script will be done in literally less than 5 minutes. And again, we don't even use deep research. We do all of this without that. And again, guys, when your scripts are done, they'll obviously appear in the script section. It'll tell you kind of how long your script is, when it was created, how much sections it has, and it will obviously give every single script a retention score. Now, if I click on this one, for example, this is kind of how it works. It kind of outlines the hooks, the questions, everything. And of course, you have your entire script right down here. And if you want to download the whole thing, literally just click copy to clipboard, go ahead and just paste that in, and you'll have your entire script at 263 pages completely done. Now, again, once you have your script, all you really do is you, of course, do your script first in Produce, go to Algro, go to AI33, get your audio file, then you'll come back to Produce to finish your video. Put the audio file into Produce for the video generation, generate the video. All done. Then all that's left is, of course, thumbnail design. Now, in terms of actually creating videos, guys, I'm going to show you some examples of what we've actually made with Produce. Here's an example of a Naruto What If channel that we made completely in Produce. Now, guys, I don't want you to get this wrong. We have a few people in the mentorship program that are already monetized, already making like $100 a day using Produce. So it does work. Don't worry. But here's an example of kind of a video that I personally made using Produce. Let me go ahead and play it for you guys right now. It's 2 hours and 22 minutes long. Again, we used a very shitty voice. But again, if you do the configuration correctly, you can get some super high quality content. Let me play this for you.
Under a moonlit sky, a small group will travel faster and draw less attention. It will just be them and Aang.
Again, insanely high quality for ultra long form content, has the really nice subtitles, has images that are completely copyright free, and ultimately it's all down to whatever you guys do. If you use a good audio file, if you use good music, the content is as good as the way you make it. And once you have that preset down pat, you can lock in a style that works for your specific channel. And again, guys, we also have this button right here, upload directly to YouTube. So if you want to go ahead and upload a video directly from Produce to YouTube, click on this button, literally choose the video title you want, description, whether you want it to be private. I'd recommend just doing private, choose your category, choose your description, and just press upload. Makes it so you don't have to kind of download an ultra long form 10 gigabyte video directly from our software. Again, that is pretty much it. It is so easy to do. And again, guys, we have so many new features coming. If you have a specific niche you want us to add to Produce, literally just let me know and we'll get it added. Now, boys and girls, this is where I'm about to give you the most value in this whole program. Nobody talks about this, and I'm going to share it with you guys now. 11 Labs for ultra long form is by far the best voice acting software. So I want to make this crystal clear, first of all, for those of you that don't have any context with YouTube automation, which again, you should kind of understand the basics if you are joining this program, because it obviously is built for ultra long form. But let's say you're a complete beginner. You do not need to pay for voice acting anymore. You just simply don't. It's not necessary. It is insanely overpriced to pay for voice actors. And honestly, that's the biggest reason why ultra long form works in the way that it does now. And that's because we don't need to pay for voice acting. Now, everybody knows 11 Labs is by far the best software for voice acting in the entire world. It is amazing. Problem is, it's fine if you're doing a regular long form channel. But when you're doing, for example, an ultra long form channel, 11 Labs is fucked in terms of the pricing. You would literally need this plan right here, $1,300 a month for you to actually be able to use it and get 11 million credits, which then again might not even last you. Like, let's say you're doing like one ultra long form channel, 4 hours per video, times that by 30, that's 120 hours a month, right? So like if I was to do 120 hours of voiceover to characters, that's kind of how much a credit would be, right? We'll let ChatGPT do this really quick. I'm obviously going to tell it that I'm talking about 11 Labs, and this will give us a bit of an idea. So yes, we can see here with that much, you'd only be able to run 2 ultra long form channels. So, and that's again, spending $1,300 a month. Who the fuck wants to spend that much? So there are actually ways, and it is a little bit fucked up. It is a little bit black hat. But there are ways to get 11 Labs for completely free. That's what I'm going to show you in today's video. There's 3 options. There is algro.online. I'm going to weigh out all of the options for you guys. Algro.online, there is GenAIPro.vn, and there is AI33.pro. Let's initially start. Now, the way this kind of works is first off, sign into 11 Labs. I know it might seem weird. Why am I getting into 11 Labs and I'm not using that? Just trust me. And again, guys, this is where it gets insane. So I've gone ahead and signed in. This is what's important. You guys might know that on 11 Labs, you obviously have the voices section. Now, when we're using a voice, we want to use a super high quality one, obviously. So language, we're going to go ahead and choose English. Next thing, we're going to click on filters and we're going to make sure we're using high quality. Next thing, whether you want male or female, I'd always recommend using male unless you're in a male dominated niche where then you want to use female because it caters to males more. Now you literally just scroll through and listen to the previews.
Your anger against
You'll literally just listen to the previews of a ton of different voices and choose one that sounds good.
just like a river fish.
I'm giving you
Like, let's say I wanted to go with this voice right here.
today, I'm giving you 3 fashion hacks.
Amazing voice, right? But usually this would be super expensive. Not anymore. What we can click on, and first off, you want to choose which website you're going to use. Again, if you want to use Algro.online, let me kind of weigh you guys out the options and which makes it easier. Algro, again, this is not sponsored, but what you actually get is for $80 a month, you get unlimited access to the voice generator, and you can do up to 200,000 characters per generation. Now, if you want to go with the $25 a month plan, it's still going to work. You can only do 60K characters per generation. So for example, if you have an ultra long form script, it might be like 500,000 characters. You're going to have to do like 5 TTS files or like 7, right? But if you do the ultimate plan, you can do your entire script in less than 2. And that's what I would recommend. So ultimate plan, if you don't care about money, ultimate Algro, that is the #1 option. Now, the next option is using GenAIPro.vn. This one doesn't have a character limit, but the problem is credits are pretty expensive. So again, all things considered, I always recommend Algro. And then lastly, we have AI33.pro. Now, I've never personally used it. I have heard some problems with it, but again, I have tested it before and it's always worked for me. Now, let me go ahead and kind of show you how AI33 works. So you obviously have the 11 Labs option, literally click on that. And here we go. You can literally just have the entire 11 Labs section right here, but this is how it works, right? You can go to upgrade. You can actually choose the amount of credits you want. So for example, if I want to spend $60, I get 18 million credits. Now that is about 31,000 minutes of text to speech, but again, still would recommend Algro because there's actually no limit. It's unlimited. So let's just say Algro is by far the best. $80 a month plan is what we're going to want to be using. Now, let me quickly sign in to show you guys how this actually works. So I'm here inside of Algro. Now, the way this works is you literally buy the tool, obviously, head down to the creation tools, click on voice generation. Now, when you're here, it might take a little second to load. Obviously, I don't have access to the full access version, but I'm going to show you on AI33 for simplicity's sake. Now, AI33, it looks identical to the way that Algro looks. It's 1 for 1. All of these softwares kind of look the same. So of course, let's say you had your script, you would quite literally go ahead and just paste it in here. Now, as you can see here, this is where it gets interesting. Let's say you found your voice. Now, this is the one we were talking about. That's why I told you guys to find the voice you want. Click on the 3 dots, go ahead and click on copy voice ID, and that'll essentially steal their voice ID from 11 Labs, and now you own it. Heading back to AI33 or Algro, make sure you have the 11 Labs option selected. Now, all you want to go ahead and do is click on select a voice right here, put in that voice ID, literally paste that in, and right here you can see Asher. This is taken directly from 11 Labs. And now I'm using that voice. And again, you can press generate script and you will have your entire voiceover that would usually cost you thousands of dollars in 11 Labs, done for basically free over on these softwares, and there's no limits. Now, of course, once you have your voice acting, that's really all you need if you're using produce.so to actually make the content. And I know it sounds fucking crazy. That's why this program is so fucking mental because you don't need to pay for editing. You don't have to pay for anything. You already have Produce. You have the top plan. It costs us a lot of money. Click on Video Studio, click on Generate Video, find the specific niche you want. Again, if you have a specific niche that's not here, literally just tell me and I'll get it added. But let's say, for example, you wanted to do Rick and Morty. You would essentially choose your image duration or video duration if you're using a video niche. That would essentially be how long you want each specific image to be on the screen for before it transitions. Now, I'd recommend 12 seconds. Next thing is your target duration. So this is where it gets important and I want to walk you guys through. Now, all you have to do, literally click on the Upload TTS button, paste in your audio file. I'm going to go ahead and paste an example audio file in, and let's just give it a few seconds to actually load. And again, let's presume that this was your 3-hour long, ultra long form voice acting. And again, if you have multiple files, that's completely fine as well. You can literally add another TTS file. And once it's in there, you can just go up and down to change the order in which they play. So if you have to do like 7 different files to make one script, that's completely fine. We've actually catered to that. That's what I mean when I say that we built this for ultra long form. Intro buffer and outro buffer. This is essentially how long you want the pause to be at the start of the video and how long you want the pause to be at the end. Again, ignore this stuff. I'm going to go into far more depth on actually creating the videos later. Give it a random video. I'm just kind of giving you guys a bit of a rundown. Now, background music. Choose background music, ambient sounds, choose your ambient sounds. Now, of course, you can go ahead and press continue, choose your font that you want, your subtitles, change the color of the subtitles directly inside of Produce. Click continue. Obviously, go ahead and confirm the usage of your credits. You guys have basically an infinite amount and your entire video will be done. Now, one more thing I want to talk about is you want to make the target duration of your video in Produce. You want to set that to 1 minute over whatever your voice acting file is. So let's say, for example, you had 2 files for your voice acting. One of them was 59 minutes. The other one was 57 minutes, right? So 59 plus 57. That's going to be 116. So essentially 2 hours long. So you're going to want to go ahead and make it 1 minute over what it would otherwise be, just so you give it a little bit of wiggle room. And again, if you're just using one audio file, you can just set it to be 1 minute over whatever that audio file is. But that's essentially how voiceovers work and how you can actually get voice acting for insanely cheap. Now, this is one of those things I was talking about. Nobody really talks about this. This is completely free, basically free, $80 a month to have unlimited voiceover. And again, this is a very simple kind of module. Didn't want to make it too long. Didn't want to bring it out far enough. I want you guys to just have enough information to know how to fucking do this and not procrastinate because it is so easy. And again, you have Produce at your fingertips. All you really need is the voice acting. Once you have that, you upload your file and your Produce video is done. And then it's really just thumbnail design. So getting to that point, let's go on to the next part of this entire program. Now, boys and girls, this is where we have the biggest edge. That is thumbnail design. Now, again, I'm going to go into 2 different avenues here. I'm going to talk about the AI version, and I'm also going to talk about the kind of Upwork / Fiverr / X version. So when you're doing ultra long form, realistically, we want to keep the barrier to entry as low as possible. We want to have as little effort on our end required as humanly possible, because again, as you'll see later in this program, once I have all of you guys doing 5K a month, I want you to be hiring somebody to handle all of this. And the best way to do that is by relying on one person to do everything. And if we're utilizing AI for everything, that one person that we're hiring doesn't really need to have a skill set to actually be able to operate and run our channel on a consistent basis. Now, in terms of thumbnail design, the best options if you're going to go with the AI route is number 1, vidIQ, fucking crazy. And I'm going to give you guys a special offer in a second. Next software is obviously just Gemini. Now, vidIQ uses Gemini. They literally just use the Gemini API, but they've got like a custom prompt that they've really trained and they've given it like thousands of example thumbnails. So it's super, super optimized. And again, there's really no reason to scab out because for $50 a month, you can get the entire vidIQ thing for free. And it gives you an unlimited amount of thumbnails. Now, really quickly, guys, this is for you. If you want, literally, and don't tell them I told you this because it's pretty fucked up, but if you want to go ahead, and usually vidIQ is $50 a month, we can get thumbnails down to $1 a month. So if you use my plan, vidiq.com/Blake, I have a special partnership with them. You can get the first month for only $1. Now, literally sign up, cancel your subscription, and just every single time the month expires, make a new email and pay the $1. Simple as that. Just do that. And then you're only paying $1 a month to have an unlimited amount of thumbnails. So this is very, very straightforward in terms of doing thumbnail design. And I'm going to walk you through my secret strategies on how I actually do this. So let's first of all find an ultra long form niche that we want to kind of copy. Let's say we wanted to copy the 3-eyed theorist niche. This guy obviously does Game of Thrones content. Very, very straightforward. They're essentially posting content like this, right? Like, what if Tommen didn't die and sought revenge on Cersei? What if Ned Stark raised Daenerys and whatever that is? I never really watched Game of Thrones, but this is where it gets crazy. And I'm going to show you a secret that I've never showed anyone before. And this is how I train my people to actually do thumbnails. So what we're essentially going to do is take a screenshot, or obviously take the URL of the video we want to copy. First things first, we want to click on reference. We want to go ahead and upload this image to vidIQ. Now, we're nowhere near done. I'm going to show you a little bit of a secret I've learned over the years. Next thing, YouTube thumbnail downloader. We want to just download this thumbnail for our own personal use, and we're going to head over to ChatGPT. Now, this is what I've said. This thumbnail was used in the YouTube ultra long form idea, what if Robb Stark married Daenerys Targaryen? I want to use this thumbnail as a reference to vidIQ, but I want you to give me 5 to 6 different prompts to give vidIQ to copy this thumbnail style. Just the style, not the idea, but for the Game of Thrones what if idea, and I just came up with a random idea. What if Robb Stark married Daenerys? Now, this is insane. This is a little bit of a secret I've learned. Again, because we have an unlimited amount of usages, we can essentially create like 10 different thumbnails for every video and just use the best one. Now, what we're actually doing is rather than us having to come up with the thumbnail idea itself, we can actually train ChatGPT to give us the thumbnail ideas for these specific ideas using that image as a reference. So as you can see, it's given me a ton of different kind of thumbnail ideas for prompts. All I'm going to do is literally grab every single one of these. I'm going to paste it into vidIQ. Make sure you still have that image reference. We're going to go ahead and click create. This will probably take a couple minutes, but essentially what we've actually done is gotten the prompt from ChatGPT and we're just putting it directly into vidIQ for every single video idea. That way it saves us having to come up with the actual context and concepts of those thumbnails and telling vidIQ what to change. We can just give it a reference and it will change it based on whatever we need. I went ahead and made a mistake. I gave the prompt a little bit wrong. Let me go ahead and fix this and show you guys what I mean. But of course, I didn't actually tell it to change the characters to be Robert Stark and Daenerys. So I obviously went ahead and told it to change it. There we go. Now it's actually changed it. Let's go ahead and paste this in one last time. Now, once I go ahead and paste these in, you guys will see what I'm talking about with how insane this is. As you guys can see right here, look what it's done. It's literally put Robb Stark on the left-hand side, Daenerys on the right, in the exact same thumbnail style that we told it to copy. This is how you can do thumbnail design. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys another example of another channel that we can replicate, just so you fully understand the exact strategy of how to do this. So what we're going to do is obviously find another kind of style of content we want to copy, and this time we're going to be a little bit more specific. So this time we're going to copy the Amagi. Now, this guy does like Naruto what ifs. Let's say you wanted to copy this. Again, same exact concept applies. And again, guys, don't worry. If you don't want to use AI, I'm going to get into depth on how you can actually acquire talent to do this without it. We're going to go ahead and give that thumbnail as a reference once again. But what I'm going to say is I want to copy this style of thumbnail. I'm going to provide it as a reference to vidIQ. What if Naruto were born a sage? But I want to make it for the idea. What if Kakashi were born a sage? Very, very straightforward, guys. I'm sure all of you can kind of understand where I'm going with this and why this works for any specific niche you might be doing. But again, we've gone ahead and pasted that directly in. So it's gone ahead and obviously given us a couple answers. Now, what I'm going to do is once again, literally just paste every single one of these in, and you guys can see how much more detailed it's gone ahead and made it this time, like high contrast, CTR optimized, obviously just insanely good. Now, the good part is about this is we can kind of train it as we go. Let's say we have a prompt that performs really, really well. We can literally just say, okay, now copy that exact prompt style, but do it for the next idea, do it for the next idea. So again, the same exact thing applies where we can have different projects and just save it as we go. Now, I have a lot more faith in this kind of style because I've done this before. I know exactly how it works. Let me show you how crazy this turns out. And as you guys can see, look how many insane kind of styles we have. Quite literally perfect. Again, keep in mind the reference we actually gave it was a little bit different to what you guys saw because obviously they were using an A/B test. So on the main page, this one did better, and that's why we thought we were doing this one. But of course, in reality, we were doing this one. But again, what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is this time I'm going to fix the thumbnail, and there we go. We actually fixed it this time, and you can see how much on par this thumbnail is with this one. So again, whatever niche you might be doing, there's really no excuse to pay a thumbnail designer anymore. It just isn't even necessary. But again, if you don't want to use vidIQ, you can always go ahead and literally just use Gemini. Go ahead and click on more tools, click on create images, and use Nano Banana Pro. It's very, very good. It's only $6 a month, and you get kind of an unlimited amount basically. But again, you're going to have to give it a little bit better of a prompt, but it should still be the exact same concept. Like for example, if I paste in that image and I go ahead and use one of the prompts it gave us, it's still going to be somewhat on par, but obviously not as good as vidIQ just because it's been trained so much further on this specific style of content. And as you guys can see, we obviously got the thumbnail. It's somewhat similar, but really not as good as vidIQ. So again, literally just use vidIQ and you're sitting on a gold mine. And again, if you want to get it for like $1 a month, just cancel your subscription. Go ahead and use vidIQ.com/Blake. Now, the next option is obviously hiring thumbnail designers, which again, I don't recommend for ultra long form just because we want to keep the expenses as low as possible. And let's say best case scenario, you're paying $20 a thumbnail, 30 videos a month. You're kind of burning $600 a month. It's not really necessary because you can kind of do anything with a good enough prompt. prompt. Now, again, there are certain situations where this is needed. And in that case, you literally just want to use Upwork, Fiverr, or X. Now, for X, it's pretty easy to kind of do. Look up like YouTube thumbnail designer. You'll see a ton of people over on X that kind of do thumbnails in your exact kind of niche. Like these people here that kind of ask for YouTube thumbnail designers, they usually get like hundreds of responses. Yeah, 400 comments, and you just DM every single one of these guys and give them a reference. So it's pretty simplistic, not hard at all. Thumbnail designing is obviously one of the easiest factors, and I want you guys to kind of understand just how easy it is to actually train a model and just get ChatGPT to copy the prompts for you. Now let's get into the next part. Alrighty guys, now we are up to the next part that hopefully you guys will actually need very, very shortly. Obviously, this part is a little bit further down the line. Apologies for the way I look right now. I just had a sauna and ice bath so I could refresh myself and get, ready for these parts. But first things first, hiring a team and organizing them into a server. Now, what I want to do is actually give you guys an example of how I've personally done this. So here's one of the channels that we used to run back in the day. So right here, Officer Mike. Now, as you guys can see, this was a very long time ago. This is back in March 2024. This was how you used to need to do it. You'd have to have a section for the video editor. You'd have to have someone for script writing, voice acting, thumbnail design, content sources, getting the content itself. And it was honestly just a shit show. But now we're at the point where we can limit the talent to AI-based professions. So essentially, rather than needing to get a thumbnail designer, a script writer, a voice actor, a video ideator, all this other shit that requires somebody to have a skill set for, we can literally just hire one person to handle everything and follow our AI protocol. So for example, we just literally teach them. So teach the person that we're hiring how to use Produce, then we teach them how to use vidIQ or Gemini to actually make the thumbnails, then teach them how to use ChatGPT to actually do the video ideation, give them access to upload on the channel, and that's all we kind of need to automate the channel. Now guys, I want to make this obvious. This part is not for you if you haven't started getting monetized at least and you're doing a couple $1,000s a month per channel. It simply isn't worth it because at this point you may as well just do 3 ultra long form channels yourselves. Only time this is ever kind of necessary is once we're at the point where we're scaling quite quick and we want to just spam out a fuckload of ultra long form channels, and it's time to actually do that. And when we do get to that point, it's honestly very important that you guys know exactly how to do this, because obviously finding someone that's not retarded, to be honest, to actually do this for you. But again, the best part is you don't need someone that's experienced in a specific profession to be able to do this exact style. Because again, everything is just human labor and having a decent understanding of the platform itself, because everything here doesn't require any sort of skill set. So for example, the way that I would sort of do this is, let's say we ran that Stories of Sleep channel, that Hollow Knight one. We would essentially make a document that we can actually share with the person we're kind of hiring, and would essentially make an onboarding document. On this onboarding document, we'd essentially run them through the exact processes. So script writing, video generation, voice acting. So we'd essentially have all the 4 pillars that we need. Now for script writing, we'd essentially give them the prompt so they can actually generate the ChatGPT prompts. We'd kind of walk them through the process itself. Or if you guys want to use Produce, literally just give them access to your Produce account and just teach them how to do it. Of course, video generation, give them access to Produce, teach them how to use it. It is so easy. We just need one team member that we can quite literally hire. And don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly how to go about finding someone to handle all of this. But as you can see, super, super easy. Voice acting, give them access to Algro and give them the voice acting settings. Simple as that, the 11 lab settings. So whatever speed you use, whatever like enthusiasm you use on the voice, all that type of stuff. And then of course, thumbnail design. Give them vidIQ login, walk them through the process. So simple, boys and girls. I'm telling you right now, like this is insanely simplistic. We'd quite literally just teach them the process for every single thing here. And again, it is so straightforward. It is not hard at all. So again, when we are going about hiring someone, we don't necessarily need to work with somebody that has a massive skill set in video editing, in thumbnail design. All they need to do is have the motivation to just do this for us, and none of it requires a skill set in anything. Now, this is where it gets kind of important. You need to make a decision at this point. Do you want to pay equity, or do you want to pay an upfront amount? So what this means is, do you want to pay someone a percentage of the channel once you're monetized? Because obviously you're only going to start looking for a channel manager once you're monetized. Do you want to give them a percentage of the channel, or do you want to give them a lump sum? So equity would be like, let's say for example, they get 20% of all revenue generated, or they get a lump sum. So you pay them like $1,000 a month to handle everything. Now, in my opinion, I would say equity is a little bit better, but I think that when you work, when it's your first time working with someone, it's a little bit more realistic to go with lump sum. What I mean by that is, for example, if you have a channel manager already running one channel for you, you can simply get him to handle another channel for you. But it's unlikely that you're going to be able to hire that person to work on an equity basis if they don't know who you are and they've never worked with you before. So again, if you can get them on equity, that's amazing. One of the reasons for equity splits, and even when I ran Snapchat shows and we did $2 million profit in Snapchat, it was so important that we had somebody working on an equity split because again, they have incentive. With your guy, right? If you're paying him a lump sum, sure, he wants a channel to do well, so he actually still gets paid and still has a job. But on the other hand, right, if a video idea does really, really well, he might have some animosity between you and he doesn't want to double down on that idea. Whereas if they have a little bit of percentage in the channel, they're far more motivated to actually work on that specific video. And of course, do whatever has the channel's best interest at heart. So equity wise, you probably want to pay anywhere from 10 to 20% of the channel's revenue. Again, if you're doing like 50K a month, don't pay this much. But again, if you're doing a couple thousand a month, 10 to 20% is a really good amount. In terms of lump sum, if you want to get a good team member, so someone off of like online, again, I'll get into this later. I won't go into too much depth yet. If you want to work with somebody to just pay them to do the videos, which again is completely fine if you're just starting out, and it's honestly very, very easy and very cheap, you could essentially package all of this into one thing. And I'd say you're probably looking at about $10 to $20 a video. Truthfully, which again is super cheap. We can automate so many ultra long form channels with essentially zero expenses other than this. Now you might be saying, well, how the hell do I actually acquire talent? Now, this is where I'm about to put you guys on game. So first things first, you have onlinejobs.ph. This is the #1 place I would recommend to find Filipinos. Now, this is essentially the job board for virtual workers in the Philippines. It is so fucking cheap. It's not funny. You can pay people $2 an hour. Heck, I'm pretty confident you could probably get someone to do all of this and to automate the channel entirely for you with onlinejobs.ph for like $2 a video. I'm not joking. I'm being completely serious. It is ridiculously affordable. And again, the best part is if you needed these guys to do something that was quite difficult, you wouldn't go on online jobs. You'd go on a site like Upwork where they're a little bit more professional and honestly, they have a bit more experience in specific fields. But again, because what we're doing is so easy and so bare bones and they're just following prompts that we already give them, it honestly makes sense to just go with the cheapest talent possible and just give them manager access to the channel to just upload the videos and just don't let them see the revenue. Obviously, there's a few other options. You literally just go on online jobs, you make a free post, literally post the job, write exactly what you need, and you'll be able to hire a team again. I don't think there's many of you right now in the program that at this point where you need this, but I know a couple of you that are already monetized and already doing like a couple thousand a month. So for you guys, definitely worth doing. And again, I am very, very confident all of you will eventually start doing high amounts. And when that does come, this module is going to be super important to you. So make sure you're paying attention. So of course, literally make a post on onlinejobs.ph if you want to hire someone, give them the rundown of what you need. Make sure you get a sample done. This is so important. Make sure you get a sample so that they actually know what they're doing and they're not retarded. Next thing, you can obviously go with Upwork. This is if you want a little bit high quality work. But again, as I said, be prepared to pay the premium price, which would be anywhere from like $10 to $20 a video. Upwork, very, very, very straightforward. Exact same process. Post the job, explain what you need. You'll have a ton of submissions. Good thing about Upwork is you can actually filter it by people that have earned money on Upwork. So for example, you can only work with people that have done upwards of $10,000. That way you know that they're pretty much already going to be trusted. Another option is discord.gg/creative paradise. This is a great option if you want to work on equity basis because a couple of these guys are already pretty familiar with the Faceless space. But again, you're going to be looking at pretty high premiums. So again, I would probably recommend online jobs to be the best option. Of course, you have Fiverr. This is shit. I wouldn't recommend using Fiverr. People are just not professional enough. But again, once you've got your worker, because as I was saying previously, I had to use a Discord server to kind of organize everything. You really only need one person. So there really isn't even a need to do this. If anything, you'd want to make a Discord server just for logging stuff, just so he can write when he finishes the video, upload the video, send you the link to the video, just have everything really nice and organized, make some really nice documentation so the guy knows exactly what to follow, when to follow to actually execute on this. And again, this is something to do later in the future. I just want you guys to have this resource so you know exactly what to do.